How we doing, Robust family? And we have a show coming up now, and I know you're gonna love it. But before we continue, can I ask you all to just do me a small favor? I need you to give a robust smash to that like and subscribe button. It helps us a lot, and it makes sure that you do not miss a breakfast show beat. Do it right now, click that button, and I'll see you in the show. See you in a sec. Good morning to you. It's that time, and I'm here with you. I'm Robert Ashitey, your bus presenter, and this is your breakfast show. All right, guys, how we doing? And I'm going to be with you from now until the hours of 10 o'clock for the next 2 hours. And joining me in the studio, we have the lady of sound herself. As you know how she does, you know how she is. It just is the way to be in this society. It's Kathleen. Good morning to you, Kathleen.
Good morning.
Yeah. Oh gosh. You look very cozy up there in the cat cam.
Yes.
In that cat nap.
I want to take a cat nap.
You want to take a cat nap?
Yeah.
It's going to be a trademark now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cat nap. But look, you got your little top on.
Cardigan.
You know, your little cardigan in there. You look very comfortable, ready to brave the weather outside.
Thank you.
Even though you never go outside, you stay in the building.
Yeah.
but you're in the spirit of people who do function outside.
Yes.
But it's great to have you ready, fully loaded.
Yep.
Of course you are. Of course you are. And also joining me in the studios this morning, we have returning back two of the VYG soldiers of Finsbury Park, returning back here on the Breakfast Show, but obviously they came previously on different occasions. We have to my left, my niece, the one, the only, it's Javina. Good morning to you, Javina. That should come right there, Javina. That's it. Javina, that's There's Javina, there's Javina. All right, come down a bit, come over here, Alex. And then over next to her, you don't too much, so you don't get you lost. There we go. And over there we have the one and only Alex. Alex, what's going on, man? How you doing, Alex? Hey, speaking to my brother.
I'm good.
You got that look of ambition in your eyes. Yeah. You got a look of like, yes, let's go. I heard your team had therapy because like you guys needed to move to another level to grow and develop.
How'd you know?
Of course. I have an informer. VYG informer. You see, so this is great. This is great. You're from the VYG. I know you guys work really hard. And you know what? It's amazing. Do you know why? Because one thing about the VYG is the future. The future of the work. The future who go out there and make the difference. And so it's really great that we have him here today because we have returning back the one, the only, here from Finsbury Park. Also, why it's a Finsbury Park invasion today. Yeah. It's only Mr. Effy. Good morning, Mr. Effy.
Good morning.
Hey. Do you know, Mr. Effy, we got a lot of positive responses from our last engagements. Even Daniel Paquette, not Daniel Paquette, Daniel in Wood Green, no, not Wood Green, Willesden Green. No, it's not Willesden Green anymore. It's Kilburn now because they moved from
Kilburn.
So
That's Daniel
Paquette. So it's in my head somewhere. I just don't know. So things are just in there. So you know, he will say he's really enjoying the series. Yeah, especially because he works in media and television. So he's really looking forward to this today. And so we had a lot of positive responses. You know, and I think one of the things that Mr. Effy wants to look, so we want to hear about how you're going to use it and which way you're going to use this information. Because last time we spoke about business structures, business models, you even planted in my head to start a charity. It's like now it's something that I have to do. Every time I look around now, I'm thinking, okay, we need to do a charity. You know, I can do X, Y, Z, but yeah, can do it. Could actually do a charity. It literally is a tangible thought. It would never have been in my spectrum of my thoughts before. So it's been very beneficial, Mr. Effy.
No, that's good, because that's the idea. There is no point us being here.
Yeah.
You know, taking part of this without implementing it. We want to see, it's like a seed, isn't it?
Yeah.
We want to see it grow, we want to harvest it and enjoy the fruits of it.
Absolutely. I wish I brought these guys in early, you know, because I think Jorina probably would have started the charity already.
Yeah. It's good to have the youths here.
Yes.
They won't make the same mistakes we made. They learn from.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
We learned the hard way.
What? I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's amazing because we've got so much resources around us nowadays, isn't it? And, you know, speaking of resources, guys, I've actually got a video I want to share with all of you. One of my videos. Yeah, one of my videos. That one. Yeah, that white one there. That one. Yeah, that one. So basically, this is basically about millennials, right? Because nowadays it's 2024, and we've got millennials and a whole new generation. People that are easily offended. People that they say, you know what? As long as I get a laptop, I will become a millionaire overnight. There's lots of possibilities, but I don't know if this, Jovine and Alex, you're probably going to have to help me with this one, because you work with the young people. Does this illustrate a millennial in the working environment? I wouldn't even just be a millennial. There are adults who have adopted this mind frame as well in the working environment today.
Millennials are adults now. Yeah. Our generation is Gen Z.
Some Gen Z are adults.
Not this conversation.
Yeah,
again.
Already.
The teens in UTF, they were talking about this. They were like, "No, it's not. You already." And I'm like, you know what? But anyway, the spirit is the same.
So you're speaking about millennials as like. It's supposed to be a new way. Yeah. Oh, I thought this was going to be the old way.
No, this is how things are. 2024. Have a look at this. This is going to be interesting. See what you think.
I want you ready to go at 8 sharp each and every morning.
I don't understand. You said 8, right?
Yes.
8 like in the morning 8?
Yes, in the morning.
Yeah. That kind of doesn't work for me. I Skype with my French boyfriend in Paris until like 3 in the morning. I don't even get to Starbucks until like 10, where I order my grande chai tea latte, 3 pumps, skim milk, light water, 2% foam, extra hot but not too hot. So if it's okay, I work best in the morning at 10:45.
Amy, I don't think we're going to be a good fit.
Why are you so negative? I can sense your hostilities, and right now I am not feeling very safe. I typed all night for this meeting with you. You've given me no guidance, no validation, no encouragement, no supervision. Is there an HR director somewhere?
HR director?
Yes, I need to speak to someone. I may have to take off today as a mental health day.
Amy, look at me. You don't work here.
Are you firing me?
Yes. This is the world we live in. I mean, Mr. Effy, have you employed someone with these types of traits?
It's tough now. It's not easy.
But at the same time, it's very easy to stand out, right? Just good old fashioned back in the day common sense. I mean, have you seen these types of characteristics, Alex?
I think with the Starbucks is like, I feel like when people go to Starbucks, it's just to be fancy, just to say, look, I've got a bit of money now.
Yeah, the thing. What about you, Jovina?
I don't know if you've seen, there's a video online where they're having like a Zoom meeting as a company. It's a small brand, they're having a Zoom meeting. And then the girl who's presenting is getting her nails done at the salon while like on the call. Yeah. And then she's like, it's a working environment, no one can understand me because they're all like...
So it's someone else's fault, right?
So like, she just thought that, like, working from home, she thought that was a good environment because she's getting all her work done. Yeah. And she's not,
Okay.
She's still being able to present. Yeah. And she's still being able to do this and that and the other. And then the video just ends with her boss saying, yeah, so can we go to a breakout room, just me and you? And everyone's looking like she's about to get fired.
So this is it. So like now there's so much resources, so many facilities, so many ways that we can be in the working world, that we can be involved in business, that sometimes people take advantage. And in some ways it's made people a bit more softer, would you say, Mr. Effy?
Look, to be honest, I'm quite conservative and old school.
Yeah, so I hear that.
That's just something that it will open a can of worms if I say that. I will get in trouble. But it's tough now. It's tough now. The rules are tough. I believe people are even closing businesses because they can't keep up with the HR rules. Yeah, it's becoming too unrealistic. It's really tough. It's really, really tough. Wow. So that's what I will say. But I also think that it gives those who sticks, those ones, if you youths, if you stick with the traditional values, you will easily excel. So I think it's easier now to make a difference. It's easier to excel now because you will stand out very quickly. And people like us who are employers, we are looking for people who will stand out, and we are ready to pay a premium for that.
Wow.
Yeah. Definitely. And it's getting harder and harder to find. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Getting harder and harder because of the culture we are building, you know?
Wow.
It's a culture that it's, well, this is my opinion. It's a culture that is fake in the sense that, for example, in schools, they try to create a system where there is no, where you are not examined anymore. But in society, you are examined every day.
True that.
You have to face failure every day. So
That's true.
I don't know. The expert, I'll leave it to the expert, but probably that's why there's increase in mental health. Because imagine someone who has been protected
Yep.
all their lives.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you get to the real world where the competition is fierce.
And you get pushback.
How are you going to cope? So those ones who stick to the values that transcends time, they'll make a difference. Because those things don't change. The values that leads to success, they don't change. It transcends time. So we are living in a culture that the truth and reality is being hidden.
Wow. This is strong things. Yes, we're going to say something to that. Do you have any questions to that?
Not really, because I kind of agree with it, because the way it's going now, because I am like a child who came out of lockdown, so my GCSEs were in lockdown.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of like, I
Same.
kind of...
Wow.
Didn't do the exams.
Ouch.
Me too. I just got the GCSEs like that.
Okay, so that's what we got to deal with as well, yeah?
So it's kind of like, how do I put it? So the way it's going now is kind of like it's lockdown, so you just get your results. That's how it is now.
Yeah.
But like when you speak to someone, they say like who's going to school now, I've got my GCSEs coming up. Like you kind of feel bad for them, because it's kind of like we got it easier, but now you're gonna do it the hard way.
Because of that one global catastrophe.
Yeah.
But I think what Mr. Effy's saying is that sometimes that easiness, right? That way of, let's pander to you, let's not hurt your feelings, is making really soft people. But the world isn't soft, like you said.
The world isn't soft.
The world gets pushed back. The world will tell you, no, you're not good enough yet. Go, train, and come back later. Or they'll just be a bit like very blunt, right?
Exactly. The market will tell you that, because if you don't, we're in a competitive world. We're in a competitive society. So if you didn't do well, your service or product will not be demanded, which means you will be out of the system. You know what I mean? Maybe be on benefits.
Yeah.
So, but that again, if you think about it in the long run, is not effective, because the economy, if we're in an economy that is not producing the right skill set or the right attitude for work to be competitive, we have a problem, because competition is also global.
Yeah.
So then it will eventually affect the economy. So that's why you see there is a lot of shortage of skilled labor now.
Yeah.
Even with it's really, for me, as I said, it's deep. We can talk about this. I think it's something that we can
explore later on.
Yes, because it's deep.
Very deep.
And it's going and it's controversial.
Mr. Effy, you've seen some stuff. Just by that look in your eyes, you've seen some things and heard some things. Wow.
It's controversial.
So look, and that's why we're here today, guys, because we want to get that edge. We want to sharpen ourselves. And like Mr. Effy said it before, we're going to get information that if we knew sooner, we would navigate things a lot more smoother. And maybe there are those of you who have an idea right now, something that you want to do, you have in your mind, you have in your heart, you've been inspired. Hopefully what Mr. Effy is sharing with us today will be very powerful to assist you in that. So we're going to get ready to go for a timeout. And the theme that we're going to be touching on today, Mr. Effy?
7 steps to get funding.
All right.
And I like to put an element of surprise, because the first one is something you may not think about, but it's the most important.
Powerful.
The first one we're going to discuss.
And why would a person need funding?
To start, if you want to start a business and you don't have access to funding, or maybe you're in business and you want growth. And sometimes you can't do it alone. So you need funding to start up or to grow your business.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So we have a morning coffee question for today. Kat, fire it, please.
What's the most surprising thing you've learned about credit scores or borrowing money? Share your stories, tips, or even a funny mistake you've made. Let's learn and laugh together.
All right, guys. So share your thoughts. All right, this is very important because I remember, because I got married when I was 21, but no one told me about credit scores. Nobody. Only because I was I need a house for my wife. I need to find somewhere for us to live. So I want to buy a house. And because of that, I found out, mortgage, and because of mortgage, credit score. So now then I realized, I needed that for my mobile phone. It was affecting, and she couldn't get a mobile phone because of it. Only because of a certain place I was in my life, I started to realize that credit scores and all that kind of stuff was important. And only because I knew about it, I was able to do something about it and kind of have more control. But many of us are not told about these things, are we?
Exactly. And all of us, we found out, well, in my case, I found out the hard way as well.
Yeah.
Yes, when I didn't realize that there was something adverse in my credit. Yeah. I didn't know.
Yeah.
When I found out, I was really, because at that time, because when I was young, I moved a lot. So I didn't really realize that there was something pending. And when I applied for credit, then they told me that I had an adverse credit.
Yeah. And
by then, it had even gone bad because it had to be on my file for 6 years.
Yes.
But even though this is the thing, when I found out, I quickly went to pay it off.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
But it was still there for 6 years. This is obviously many years ago, more than I think 30 years ago now.
Wow.
So I found out the hard way, and that taught me a lesson to make sure I look, I make sure I don't, because it was really a difficult experience.
Wow.
Because it was there for many years.
Wow. So that was you, Mr. Effy. Just quickly, just to check here in the studio, because Mr. Effy is going to drop 7 points for us today. Have you had any experience, or what your thoughts on dealing with credit, your credit rating, etc.? What are your thoughts? If you say none, just say none. Or it's like, no, it's affecting my parents, so definitely I know. Or, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's it.
I've heard about it. I remember it was actually Assistant Dion, Auntie Didi.
Yep.
She was given a seminar about it.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, I don't really know a lot, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. All right, but it affects her big time, isn't it, Mr. Effy?
Yes.
What about you, Alex?
I've heard parts of it, like how it helps. So like paying phone bills, gym membership, and that helps. Like paying stuff on time. But that's really it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Really.
We was going for a mortgage in Stratford. They had some new builds, 1 bedroom. And literally, I was all ready to go with Faith, with my oil and everything. And then something was on Nicola's credit file, which is why she couldn't get a mobile phone. And we had to just, if I knew what I knew later on, I would have pushed more and gone to another lender. But literally, it just impeded that movement, so I had to kind of learn and kind of undo it. As we've got the morning coffee question going in the background, Mr. Effy, so take it away. What would you like to share? What you're sharing with us today?
The 7 steps to get funding. And that's what we're going to do. It's basically, we're going to give you 7 steps. And the first one is what we've been touching on, which is the credit profile. Now, maybe you're wondering, what does that have to do with funding? But we're going to explain that.
Okay, so the credit profile. So, because when I think of credit profile, I think of Experian. I'm thinking of, you got a car ticket because you got that you didn't pay ages ago, and they managed to put a CCJ, right, which is a mark on your credit profile, and it stays on there for 6 years. So that's what I'm thinking of straight away. But you're connecting it also with business as well today, right?
Yes.
So and obviously, this is something that we need to protect.
Definitely. There is a Bible verse that says, if you are trusted, if you cannot be trusted with worldly mammon, with worldly money, how can you be trusted with true riches?
Okay. I think on that note, we all need to put ashes on our head.
Yeah. Yeah, because really, to be honest, the way we deal with matters also shows who we really are spiritually. And many times we are challenged to say, wow, I need to be more I need to be more organized. I need to be more in control of my affairs, because maybe you don't know this, but if you have a poor credit score, there are some jobs you cannot take.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yep.
Was it one? Could you name one particular one? I think,
for example, you cannot be an asset manager sometimes. You get some security jobs as well. For example, we have volunteers through the road group. They check your credit score as well.
Wow.
Before, to get the keys to the prisons. Because if you think about it, they want to make sure that you can. It's this verse here, isn't it?
Yes.
If you cannot handle worldly riches, how can you handle true riches? So, if you think about it, if we put it the other way, if you cannot handle your finances, how can I give you the keys to the prison? If you cannot handle your finances, how can you be an asset manager? How can you be a security agent? So position of trust.
Wow.
Is very difficult when you have a poor credit rating in the financial world, in security, then it affects business. Because if you cannot handle, if you have poor credit rating, how do I trust you to be your business partner? How do I trust you to fund your business?
Wow. You know what? This is heavy. This is a very heavy thing.
Like you found out, how do I trust you to give you a 25-year loan?
Yeah, if you don't even organize
which
your
is a mortgage.
Bill. Yeah, that's tough.
So that's why we are starting with this point, here. Because a lot of business, people like Elon Musk, for example, is their name that gets them credit now.
Yeah.
Many times, people want to give him credit because it's been proven and tested. So people want to give him credit. So when their name is on, so that's what we need to understand. We need to create our brand, especially those of us who are Christians.
Yeah.
We should be the ones that people will be looking out to know, these people are trustworthy. These people are. So imagine when the credit is bad, how can we expect people to trust us?
That's true. And I'm just thinking, because I'm glad that Alex and Jovina are here this morning, because as soon as you start working, you come of age, you start working, you just think, what can I spend my money on? And we think that's all it's about, just clothing ourselves and eating, and then obviously we as we get older, we get more responsibility, but we don't realize that this is in the back. Following everything that we do, we have a history of how responsible we are with money and what comes into our hands, and it can make things very difficult. To the question that we asked, what people know about the credit profile, we've got some comments here in the live chat. Natalia says, hi, this is interesting conversation. Mobile phone late payments are a killer. They can also stop you from getting a mortgage. Pay your mobile phone bill on time. That's from Natalia Thomas. Haven't seen you in the live chat before. Natalia, great to have you with us. We have Anonymous saying, what I found surprising once I discovered my credit score was affecting because a relative's credit score was added to mine based on the address. We were living together at the same time. They wouldn't remove it at first, and I had to fight for a long time for it to be removed. It really affected me getting credit, which I really needed at the time. So even when we talk about love therapy on Thursdays, one of those conversations is like, what's your credit rating like? Is there anything that you or I might have that can affect us in our plans? So this
it's a very it's very, very important, and it's very basic, and it shows. And as it just shows that is something that, especially when you're young, maybe you're living with your parents, you don't have a lot. So what happens is, as soon as you start working, society wants to give you credit, because people get credit cards and they get excited. get phones, the best phones, when you have a good credit. Because maybe when you're living with your parents or your guardian and you don't have responsibilities, so you start off with probably an okay credit. Because funny enough, a good credit is also when you've been able to show that you manage finance, in the sense that maybe you've been able to manage a credit card. So sometimes it's even good to have a credit card, not to be irresponsible, but to pay the balances off every month. So that will show that you are responsible. But when you have no credit at all, when you have zero,
that could be a challenge.
That is also a problem.
I've had customers who've actually seen products and they're like, I want it. Me, I don't have no debt whatsoever. But they are unknown in the credit system. Exactly. And so that could be, so you have to have that balance, right?
You have to have that balance. You have to have been shown that it's like this verse here in Luke. This is another verse that is very important. In Luke 16:10, it says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much.
Wow. That's true.
So that's it. So if you are not trusted at all, then you've not proven yourself. Which means if you have zero credit, you've not proven yourself, so you cannot be given much. But if if you're trusted with some, like a credit card or some small loans, then it shows wow, and you manage it properly, it shows that's excellent. That leads to excellent credit.
Beautiful.
So it's very important that you don't rush, especially the young ones, because that's what happened to me when I was young, more than 30 years ago.
Wow.
You just think that you just disappear from the system.
Doesn't work like that.
From the system. But when you get older, it comes to haunt you.
Father of light.
And for some people, even affects their career. So imagine you want to go into an asset management role, for example, and you have bad poor credit rating. I believe even though I've not researched this, I won't be surprised. To be a man of God, you have to have proper credit rating, if you think about it, because that's a position of trust. Goes in line with good credit, because imagine you're a pastor, you're handling
financial affairs.
You need to be able to manage it. So if you cannot manage your credit rating, how are you going to manage the credit rating, the credit of an organization, of a church?
Wow. Speaking of managing your credit rating, we've got a comment here from Chanel McKenzie. Lady Jazz, let's hear it. 3, 2, 1. Take it away. Her experience with credit rating. Let's go.
Good morning, breakfast family. How are you all doing? I hope you're all well. So I do have a bit of an experience with credit scores and credit report. So when I came across my credit scores and I decided to take it seriously, I thought it just meant not getting into debt or making sure that you pay installments on time and my credit scores will go up, not knowing that they look at other things. Like, for example, my credit scores kept going down and I thought, okay, why is it going down? And then I realized because whenever I'm taking out any credit, I would go above 25% or under 50%. So I thought to myself, wow, is that what they look at? So what I ended up doing now is whenever I take out any credit or anything at all, I always take it below the 25% or just below 30% so that my credit scores goes down. Because I didn't know they look at that. And also, being on the voting electoral list as well, I didn't know that impacts your credit score either. So these are the things that I needed to focus on, and my credit scores is going up now and the results are much better now. So that's my experience. All right, take care, have a good day.
That's good, right?
Yeah, very good, very good. So sometimes people want to run away from it, but I think it's a good start to know what it is. And those of you, the youths who have not got into it, you don't have bad credit, then just know that you don't want to get debt, because to fix it can take years.
Just to share, if any of our listeners want to check, this is for the UK as far as I'm aware, they want to check their credit rating or to see what's actually happening there, you can check ClearScore. ClearScore, 100% free. ClearScore, just check them out, and you'll be able to see what's happening with your credit rating, and you may be surprised. Or you may be doing good and you can just keep it good, because they've got a lot of tutoring on how to look after your credit score as well, on that app.
Just to put a silver lining on all this, because sometimes we get intimidated, we get scared. But I remember a lady many years ago. She had a very bad credit rating, but a good job, and she never dealt with it. So then when she actually had the boldness to deal with it, even though it was bad, she was now able to resolve it, and she was able to buy a house which she could never buy. So running away from it is not the answer. It's knowing where you are, and to be honest, if you start dealing with it, then it will help. And with this a platform like ClearScore, you would know what to do. In fact, sometimes they guide you on steps to take, which is very good. We have all the tools to help us with this. So it's important that our financial profile is very important, and I will even add a social media profile as well. Because if you are in a position of trust, you want to run business, you want to be able to attract funding, you want people to trust you. It's really about you. It's about your brand. Who am I? Sometimes there are people who will not invest because they don't just think the person has the right attitude, the right character, the right profile. And many times they'll just tell you no. But they've researched it. They won't tell you because of data protection and
GDPR.
GDPR. You will notice these days they don't even tell you the reason. It's like employers. When you ask for reference these days, they just give the dates. They don't say. So to just safeguard any issues these days, because of the different laws, we may not know the reason. Then you may think, why is it that everyone? How is your credit? How is your profile on social media? What are you doing on social media?
So like the posts that they put up, the things, because it stays, isn't it?
It stays, yeah. Yeah, so that is your brand.
Wow.
So think about it. What is my brand? And our brand, if we follow brand Lord Jesus, think about how our brand will be. We will be the best.
That's true. Because he was faithful in the small things, even the things that we consider insignificant, in terms of how he treated with people and how he dealt with things. It made a big difference. People trusted him.
Yes. It's so important that we look around us to know ourselves. What do I mean? How do we handle everything around us? Our home, our finances, time. We really tell you who you are, because sometimes we don't know who we are. But when you do those things well, then it means you can be trusted with more.
So guys, what are your thoughts on that?
So what I kind of got from that is that your credit is basically trust. So how your bank can trust you, how people can trust you, and that, what else was that? How, so you think like paying your bills, so say like your phone bill, basically all your bills, you think like that's the end of it, but there's more behind it. And that because basically I run an Instagram account, I run 2 Instagram accounts, and how they even look at that, how they look at the small things that like you don't think that no one really looks at. They look at that as well. So it's kind of, you gotta keep that high standard of everything that you do.
Yeah.
So that's what I got.
Yeah. Anything that thoughts that came to your mind, Javina?
For me, it was just about like how you can't be a no-show on the system as well. Like you do have to, put yourself out there and not just think, oh, because I don't have any debts and I don't have this, so I'm good. Like, you do need to have a good credit score and not just nothing. I think that's something that stuck out to me.
Okay, we've got some comments here in the live chat. It's really kicking off. We've got a comment here from Anonymous. Lately, our credit scores have been checked before being assigned projects to work on. Wow, it's something that never happened. So before they have projects to work on, in what they do, their credit scores actually been checked. But since last month, we've been informed that they'll be doing this going forward. I was surprised at first, but I can see because of the type of clients we have, they want to do financial due diligence. That's from Siboni. Yep. And also Anonymous 158 says, Mr. Effy, good morning, sir. If you are in your 20s and have billed a 69, okay, we have to check the typo on that. Well, it says it cannot be paid off, but I think 69,000, so maybe debt. It cannot be paid off, but they have said after 5 years it will be foreclosed. Do you know if this is true payments? £250 per month is currently being paid. So they pay £250 per month, and then obviously whatever after 5 years is going to be foreclosed. That's what it said.
Well, it will be to be honest, it's difficult to say, but so because I don't know the exact situation, what the debt is about, but usually this is general now. This is not specific to this because I don't really know the specification, so it's very difficult to give you an exact answer. But generally, if you are owing and it will be there on your credit record that even if you are paying, it's good. It shows that you're paying. However, it will be there. Yeah. In my case, when I found out, it was not a lot of money. That's the annoying part of it. So in my case, at the time, over 30 years ago, when I found out this situation, it was not a lot of money, but I just paid it. But even though I paid it, it was still there.
Yeah.
Until, after 6 years, then.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because I think this person might have made an arrangement.
Yes.
I think so.
So, yes, that's what I'm saying. Even when you pay it, but it's good sign to make another thing is when you see sometimes even you can get funding, but it becomes so expensive.
Yeah.
That's why it's related to business as well. So you get funding from the premium because they assess your risk. So you may not get funding from mainstream funders, but you may get funding maybe where you are paying, instead of paying maybe 2% interest, you are paying 15% interest, for example.
That's painful.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the risk, the
high.
funders who will agree to associate with that individual, they are taking a risk, and that's how they, so because of that, there's a premium for that. So you can see how it affects that now. If you are a business person, it goes into your profit.
Wow. Okay.
But it's a good start, by the way, to make an arrangement. Again, never run away from creditors. Make an arrangement, and that's also a very good start to show that you are in control of it.
Beautiful. Anonymous said it was damages from landlord. So okay, but here we go. It's good. All right, guys. So look, this was the first point. We got 7. We've got 7 points. All right, and this one in terms of credit profile is a huge one. That I'm glad you brought it to us today. We're gonna go for a timeout just to catch your breath because we've actually developed the subject quite extensively. We've got 2 comments. This is one's from South Africa and one's from Wilson Green. So I'm curious to see what South Africa has to say on this one. All right, this is from Chanel. All right, let's hear it. Go ahead, Chanel.
Morning breakfast show family. This is Chanel from South Africa. What I found surprising, first when I learned about credit score in more details, it was at uni.
She's tired.
A commune mate, were living together at the time. She told me that I can actually get a credit card, like a revolving credit card, where if I spend a certain amount, then I only pay for that amount that I've spent. And yeah, it was all nice and good when I opened it, and then I did not pay it up. And then when I started to work, and now I wanted to actually use credit, and yeah, it came back to bite me. That's when I started from a negative basically. Yeah, and it was just horrible from there on. I just didn't understand why I had to pay it back somehow. Yeah, so that was it.
That's very common, right? Even in South Africa, they would come to the campuses to say, here's a credit card.
Yes. When you actually, what happens is, when you start university, the banks, they even give you free, they actually solicit for students by giving you free banking services for all your university. They give you a lot of treats as well to be part, because what is happening there, what they want is to gain you from the youth, because most of the time you stay with them. Like the bank, I've been using one of my banks since university, you know what I mean? I still use them now, you can imagine.
Wow.
How many years. So that's what they do, and that is where it's dangerous as well, because at that time, maybe you're just leaving home, getting excited, and they give you loans to the, because they give you credit card. You will say, wow, this is, what
free
I mean?
Money.
Yes, free money. You think it's free. But you are tied in, because again, don't forget, all these things, at the end of the day, you pay for it later, and they make money from you later.
Wow.
So, yeah.
All right, there is a silver lining, guys. There's many silver linings here. So we got a final one here from Sherry in Willesden Green. So this one's closer to home. Let's have a listen to Sherry.
Good morning, breakfast show.
Morning.
I remember Market Spencer card. I went and asked for it, and I had a negative response even though I was working full time. And then I started going on these websites to check my credit score. I even wanted to open an account with a bank. I remember, and there was like, oh, wait, honey, wait. And there was like, okay, you need to have a positive credit score. It's supposed to be a certain amount. Even with my bank online, it's really funny. You could be making £2,000 a month or 2,400, and they're still kind of trying to negotiate with you the fact that if you don't have a good, wait, sweetheart, if you don't have a good credit score, well, you can never get a card. Yes, Pumpkin. Oh la la. I know you're #1 fan of Liberty Radio, but give me a second. Oh. Anyway, but that was my experience. So I went on the website Experian also to try to see if I can get it. And really, the rating scores that they have for a person to get a credit is like, it's crazy. It's ludicrous.
Okay.
Really, it is.
All right. So she was talking about the rating system, and that rating system, even though she was earning good money in terms of what she had coming in, she was still not able to do certain things because of what was happening in the rating system and the credit score.
If you think about the concept of trust, if you cannot be trusted with the little, how can you be trusted with much? So it's not about what you earn, it's about how you take care of your history.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Obviously, this is nothing personal, because we've all made mistakes out because of lack of knowledge or because of situations in our lives. But it's still the same principle. If you think about it, if you cannot be trusted with earthly riches, how can you be trusted with true riches? So it's what it is,
So as a Christian, it's a case of, I may think I can escape this one, or I could just avoid this, but as a Christian, as a godly person, I know that God requires me to do well with this. So I could run away. I could say, you know, it's on my credit file, but I could just ignore it. But because of God, I have to be like, no, you know what? I have to show that I'm trustworthy, even though no one is seeing my credit file physically. Like there's no badge on me saying that, you know, I have all of these kind of things on me, but obviously before God, I have to settle it.
There are many, you know, when you become a Christian, you are very excited, you're in faith, and lack of knowledge actually makes us even think we're using our faith and we don't care about our credit score. And sometimes deliberately, we even jeopardize our credit score. What do I mean? You want to do something, you think it's faith, and it is affecting your credit score. You know what I mean? So we have to do, yes. So this is very true because I fell in that trap, you know. And sometimes these are not the principles of God. And so when we're excited as Christians, we have to give to Caesar what is Caesar's. But sometimes we are so excited and we do things and we circumvent the rules of Christianity without knowing. So knowledge is powerful, and that happens. So again, we talked about university. Again, also, when you become, should I say new Christian? When you're excited, you know, when
in the first love, the first faith.
The first love, yes, good. Yeah. The first love, and really, you are genuine at that point, but you don't care about anything. And because you don't care about anything, sometimes you say, okay, no, I'm going to use my faith, and you jeopardize your credit score, and not realizing you are circumventing God's rule.
Wow.
And you are not giving to Caesar what is Caesar's.
Okay, guys, you're getting that.
Yeah.
You're getting that. This is very serious. And I think even if our listeners are getting it right now, and you believe in God, you have faith in God, what Mr. Effy saying to us is that, so we think we're doing the right thing in faith, but according to God's law, we're messing up.
Exactly.
Just to sum it up.
Exactly.
We've got some comments here. Anonymous saying, yes, freebie opportunities at uni is very bad. True, they hold you in. Diana from Boring says, you also need to be careful of partial settlement of debts, i.e. pay 75% and they close the account. This will still show as partially settled on your score, even though the account is settled. Very important. Then Viola says, good morning, BSF. Lozelle's connected. Great to have you with us. All right, guys. So look, we're going to be going more into that. This is just the first step, right? And you've really put a spotlight on the subject of our credit score, our credit rating. And it's wonderful. So everyone who's hearing this now, definitely take it very seriously. Tell your friends, tell your loved ones. Let's not brush this one under the carpet. Hey, just a quick interruption. I know you're enjoying the show, but don't forget, if you haven't already, robustly smash the like and subscribe button. Do it now! Do it now! We could take it lightly and just be like, okay, let me improve my credit file. But as a Christian, what we're hearing today is that we really have a responsibility to manage money well, to give people what their dues are, right? Because these are God's principles. Even was talking here during the timeout, and you highlighted something very important. You know, even in a place of worship, how we deal with each other, how we deal with business with each other. You know, there's some people who could be owing somebody, even in a place of worship. But guess what? I'm going to go and get an envelope and use my faith, but that person you still owing is like, I thought they said they can't pay me back, and we could be compromising somebody to have a grudge, right?
Well, definitely, that's a very deep one, because what happens when you're doing that, a person can have a grudge. It's like Apostle Paul said that whatever we do that will offend someone else, we should not do it, even if it's not wrong. You may be genuine, but at the end of the day, if you're owing a Christian brother or sister, you have to be in communication and let them know. But if it's a case where you are owing and you don't say anything, and the person is seeing you're doing, taking envelopes, giving offerings, they're going to think
what's happening
and
here?
That can cause the person to even have a grudge, and that can cause the person's salvation. And
But in that person's mind, they're like, I'm using my faith. You're the unbeliever.
Exactly.
But God is watching this and it's like,
no, that's not right, because you don't know the pain. Again, that's circumventing God's rule. God will prefer you to give, because we don't see God. And we should treat people that we see as we will treat God. If we don't treat people we see right, how do we expect that our offerings will be accepted?
Wow.
You know what I mean? So this is another thing that could even spiritually impede people's financial growth as well.
Yeah.
This is a spiritual side of it.
Yeah.
So it's very important how we deal with each other. And one of the issues we are going to talk about is options of funding. Ideally, options of funding, one of the main things is the people around you. You know, I know we don't encourage in the church, you know, we don't encourage this, but ideally it's family, friends, and people around you. And many of us, who is our family? It's people from
those in the faith with us.
In the faith.
Yeah.
But because of these sort of issues I'm talking about now, that can lead to someone's salvation, we don't encourage it. But ideally, that is how it should be. If everyone is acting right.
Wow. These guys, you seen this? Like how things that we individually choose to do, right, is affecting the bigger picture of how we function as a body, right, Jovenel?
Yeah, and even in the Monday service yesterday, Pastor was speaking about how we shouldn't, like, if you're doing business with family, if that person is not, you know, moving your business forward or is not adding or contributing, then there's no point doing business with family, because it can go left. And then us seeing it from the perspective of the people that we spend our time with in church can also be family. So
wow. I've got some comments here. I'm going to show you a very short video and then we're going to go to the next points that you're going to touch on, Mr. Effy. This credit profile one has been huge so far. Maria Lopez says, good morning, BSF. A blessed day for everyone in the studio. Saying blessings. I just arrived and haven't listened to most of it. Credit score is something I don't understand. Okay, we'll get Jay to, and he'll prepare it for you. I was surprised. This is Maria Lopez. I was surprised when I was declined credit and I really needed it, and I'm always on top of my payments to the other credits I have. So there might be something on the actual credit score rating. Huh?
No, the good thing is for her to do is to go into Clear Score.
Yeah.
Clear Score, and that's a platform. Maybe she wasn't here earlier when you touched on it. That's a platform, and it's free.
Yeah.
Where you can check your credit, because you never know. Sometimes people are victims of fraud as well.
That's true.
So it's important to always check your credit profile, because you can be victim of fraud where someone may have used your name and you are not even aware.
Yeah.
You know, it could be. You know, it happens to a lot of people.
Wow. We got a comment there from Gloria Jovina.
Gloria.
Yeah, Gloria Con.
My thing's not updating.
Says, good morning all. I love this topic. Glad I'm able to catch the show today. Credit is your financial / virtual character report. More parents need to teach their kids financial responsibility. Wow. So money, the way we deal with money says a lot about our character than what we can try to intentionally show people. The way that we manage money. Wow, it's hot today. M. Young, if you don't learn at school or at home, the consequences will teach them. And by that point, it can be a long and tedious process. That's from Gloria. Anonymous, ending 158, you got it there?
No.
Oh, wow.
Wait, no, I do.
You see, I think you're in free. I think you're in the free network.
Okay, I am.
Oh, God.
Okay. So, Anonymous says, well done, Kat, song appropriate.
Yeah.
Mr. Effy is paving the way, informing us of credit discipline, using the right principles. We are blessed.
Yes, and underneath that?
That one's actually really deep.
You're gone.
So, Siobhan, I believe, says, I have an experience of providing a service to someone in the church and they took months to pay. They kept making excuses that they were struggling financially, so they couldn't pay me. However, they were given testimonies on Mondays and would take part in purposes in the church. My eyes started to change towards them and I had to clean my heart and mind for the sake of my salvation. From this experience, I learned not to do business in the church or be very selective.
That's what you said, Mr. Effy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll tell you a secret. It's not a secret, but what we tend to do is we have a nothing to lose attitude. So when we do things like this, because look, at the end of the day, we are humans, isn't it? There are times where you get into things, but whenever you get into it, be ready to lose. Be ready to let it go.
The person's gonna fail. The person could fail.
Yes, and don't do what you are not ready to lose because of the salvation. So if you are not ready to make sure you can handle it, if the outcome is not what you expect, don't get into it, because salvation is key.
I love that.
Salvation is key. That is the way it should be, because we also cannot stop doing good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You cannot, because this is the principle of it. You see how this is very deep spiritually, because the devil wants us not to be united. If we are united, we can do a lot. Wow. But because of these issues, we are not united as we should. And because of that, it affects even people that maybe they have very good ideas that would have been able to
support.
Yes. And really, if you think about it, that stance makes sense because salvation is key. If you do a cost-benefit analysis, isn't it? Say, okay, instead of costing the salvation, it's better not to just do anything.
Yeah.
Let people just be. But this issue, you see, as I don't know, the lady said.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, don't worry about the name. I don't want, because again, please forgive us if the person is listening as well.
Yeah.
That's the one who was giving the testimony on Mondays. So that's why we prefer the name not to have been there. But please forgive us. This is just to help people. You are saving souls as well. You see?
Absolutely.
Everyone is saving souls, even the one who did not. But again, we don't know the reason. But again, this is the sort of thing that can happen. And I think sometimes communication is key. And really, it's better to just, when it's wisdom and maturity, it's very deep. You see, how does this lead to funding? It leads to funding because when you look at funding options, which is one of it's really, when you have a good idea, it's from people around you. First, family, friends. Because those loans are not as interest bearing sometimes, or they can have a equity stake. So because depending on what one wants to do, if you're a young person, you have an idea, to be honest, except you have an inheritance, where are you going to get the money from? If you are just young and you have a good idea, or sorry about that, or you've been saving for many years, then you're an adult already. You know what I mean? So really, funding is needed. So it's sad if you cannot attract funding from the easiest, which is those around you.
Here's something quite interesting. While you're speaking, and I was thinking about Acts, I think it's chapter 2:25. Acts chapter 2:25, and this was the first church, and it said like this. Oh gosh, have I got it right? Acts chapter 2 verse 25, and so basically it just speaks about the believers, that they were sharing their possessions, right, and no one lacked for anything. So it was a whole unit, because individuals were giving. So it's like, I'm not even expecting anything back. The church grew, things moved, anything that needed to be done was able to be done. But however, nowadays, obviously, everyone has their homes, etc. And if we don't have that mature attitude, that if I'm going to assist you in this, or if I'm going to loan you this, if I can't bear the loss, I won't do it.
Exactly.
And then the person needs to be responsible to be like, that's fine. Because some people be like, oh, you're not going to help me. All right. And they will start to guilt trip the person. So people have to be mature when dealing with money, and everyone with.
Yeah, so if you see the first church there, that's a principle that I really like, because you see that they lack nothing. And to lack nothing, that's true wealth.
Yeah.
That's true wealth. When you lack nothing, they lacked nothing. But why? Because they were united. And the more we are, the more we lack nothing if we are united, because someone's strength is somebody else's weakness. So the more we are together, the more we can work together. Remember, we were saying that maybe probably is the cooperative system where members benefit from everything. This business model is
Yes.
a cooperative,
Yep.
where the members of the organization,
Yep.
they become members and they benefit from the profit, and everyone.
Yes. That's the idea, isn't it?
That's the idea,
That
yes.
should be the ideal setup.
But because of evil, you see why we live in a fallen world. Because we live in a fallen world, and the devil is obviously, you cannot monitor who is who. It can't work.
Yeah. I've got something that I want to show you guys before we go into the second one, because as well as our individual credit profile, looking at that, all of this has come out of it, right? We've gone into scripture and everything, how important the responsibility we have as an individual on a micro level, how it can actually not just benefit us long term in our future financial development and goals, but also bless those around us. I want to show you a video, because one of the things that human beings like to do is that even when we just like to spend. We just like to spend. So we have a clip here from Andrew David. Check this out. This is interesting.
I don't care how much money you make. Start saving money. You're going out to the party? I'm not coming. We're going out to the club Saturday night? Dude, I'm not coming. We're going to go over in New York? Dude, I'm not coming. We're going to go do this? I'm not coming. Save, invest, save. Your income goes up, don't change your lifestyle. Your income goes up, don't change your lifestyle. Your income goes up, don't change your lifestyle. Let your income increase 2, 3, 4, 5 times before you dramatically change your lifestyle. If you can afford to live in $1 million home, live in a $500,000 home. If you can afford to live in a $3 million home, live in a $1 million home. If you can afford to live in a $10 million home, live in a $2 million home. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're like, man, this pillow got softer. I sleep better right now. I feel better. What the hell just happened all of a sudden? Because you made better decisions. So some people have an income problem, fine, but most people don't have an income problem. Most people have a saving and a spending problem that's haunting them. And when you are in debt and you're owing everybody money, you are just not in a good, weak place. You don't do husband better. You don't do friend better. You don't do business better. You don't do any of that stuff better.
The way we manage money says a lot about our personality. That was from Patrick Bet-David from Valuetainment. So he came up with lots of ideas on the sacrifices that person needs to make going against their own will, and just saying that even when you start to grow, we have to be very wise in the way that we manage money. And Mr. Effy, obviously he spoke about some very interesting points just then, but I want to keep it locked onto the points that you wanted to touch on today about understanding your funding needs, right? That was number 2. So after maintain a good credit rating, understanding your funding needs.
Yes. Fire. We need to understand our funding needs. Sometimes people just think, oh, I just need money. But money is deceitful. If you just look at needing money, you're going to waste it when you get it, and you don't know what you need it for. So in every business, plan, you need to know, or what is it exactly you need, so that you use that. So example, if you want to start a restaurant, what do you have and what do you need? There are different steps to open a restaurant. For example, you will need a shop. Probably the shop doesn't have planning. How much is that going to take? It takes time. So basically you plan it in such a manner whereby you know exactly what you need and you use it for that particular aspect. Don't just think that the money, you see, money is very deceitful, and King Solomon put it right that if we chase after money, it has wings, it will fly away. And it's true. Once you get so much money, you may end up using it for things you should not use it for. So make sure you identify what you need it for and don't go above what you need, because some of these funds are either people's funds that you have to repay, friends and family, or credit where you have to pay interest as well. Or if you have equity partners, they are going to be also asking you questions. And make sure you keep a record of everything. Communication is key. People are understanding sometimes, because one of the issues like we're talking about now is lack of communication. Some people don't just communicate, and they mean well, but they don't communicate. But once you know what your funding is, you're able to go to let's say you were supposed to pay in a month's time, but you can't, and you're able to go to the funder and say, look, I can't pay, this is the situation, these are the books, this is where I stand. Unfortunately, give me some more time because you can see. So once you understand your funding needs and you use the funds for that particular need, you are organized, and it can even improve your credibility because the people know that, look, you are doing what you're supposed to do. And also, it's important to, if you are going to seek funding, it's important to let people know that there is a risk. Don't run away from that. Say, look, it's risky. I'm going to do it. I believe in it, but there is a risk. You know what I mean? I'm sincere. We are going to work together. You believe in it. There is a risk. So you must understand the need. So that's the second.
Okay. So see, I can see how it ties into our spiritual life once again.
Yes.
Because what you're saying to us is that transparency. Even if the things are not going well, I can see things are going to the left. I will be transparent with you. This is my idea. This is my plan. This is my petition. But these are also my weaknesses, or this is what's going wrong. Being open and being transparent is something that we're doing for our finances, but that's part of our character as well, right? That's what God honors.
Definitely. Just be transparent. A lot of people will understand. Most people will, except obviously you have people who are unreasonable. But if you are transparent, you are open, and you communicate. And sometimes that communication, you need to be able to articulate exactly where you stand in a proper manner, which means accountability. It's very, very important. And you can actually win people's trust. Even you see how it is. People would know this character, but you cannot just
hide,
be like or never pretend as if nothing happened, and just hope that one day you will just go and that is not fair on that person. You know what I mean? You may mean well, but we have to be courageous and bold to engage.
Okay, this is really important because I'm seeing that which is done in secret will be blessed openly. That which is done openly, but that which is done in secret will be blessed openly. So this characteristic, this behavior of being transparent, this behavior of wanting to put things in order, wanting to set things right, is what causes a person to mature and grow.
Exactly.
These kind of characteristics, from what I'm hearing you say now, even though it's day-to-day things, it's life things, it's not things necessarily in the place of worship, but these are how we deal with people outside. This is developing our character, developing our sincerity as well, instead of just brushing it under the carpet, right? So if we brush it under the carpet, we're not exercising those characteristics to become more mature.
Exactly. You see, we have to, the values of our Lord Jesus Christ transcends time. If we follow the values and we stick to them, we'll be the best to do business with. We will easily stand out. So we cannot leave church in church. We are church. So wherever we go, we are the church. So the way we act. So sometimes people even see, to be honest, let's say now you can't meet the deadline you gave. The way you handle that can even increase, if I can say that, your credibility in the eyes of some people.
Yeah. I think it was Kelly that was saying it last week. He joined us on the show, and they asked him, I think something he didn't do so well at, and they asked him, how did you handle it? And he was just being sincere. I think he could have got away with it and made himself look good, but he was actually very sincere and transparent in how he handled that situation, and they liked that. They saw that they could actually trust him, and that helped him, for God to bless him with the role that he got in Google.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, that's it. So there are some because you learn more from. Look, your character is tested when things don't go the way you want, and people see how you handle that, and they say, "Wow, You know, you are not going to be that sort of person. If you know what I'm going through, please don't talk to me now. You are putting me under pressure. You know, are you the only one that people owe money? Please, I will pay you.
The victim mindset comes in. That's very common these days, right, guys?
Yeah.
Right. Have you guys seen any of that?
I think just like outside, like you see, so say like TikTok and that. You'll see that like. So say something happens to say there's a guy on TikTok, I forgot, like Jack Doherty, that guy, and you know he's an influencer, and like I think recently like, he crashed his car on like a motorway.
Oh gosh.
Not like a serious crash, but you know, he did it for views, and they're like, oh guys, guys, I'm rich. Oh, you guys can't complain about this when you don't have this. And it's kind of like, because I feel like people use it to. Because I'm on that level, you can't talk to me now. So it's kind of like the different levels. And like, I think when you see it outside, you just really, you just think, like, how do people do this, kind of?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just different levels.
Jeremy was going to add something.
I would just say, I think a victim mindset is very common nowadays, especially as we were talking earlier about, like, people are going to HR and there's all these, like, different... like systems kind of set up in the workplace, like culture, if that makes sense. But the real world needs you to be tougher than that. The real world needs you to be able to problem solve and be able to do what you need to do. But again, like in workplaces, there's kind of this system where, you know, just tell HR about that, and it's all kind of nice and bubbles and everything. But it doesn't get you far, I believe, yeah. Yeah,
and so people blame other people instead of also owning up to their mistakes because they're so soft nowadays. Yeah. And then you have employees who are looking for the right people, but people all, their challenge avoidance, risk avoidance, they don't even take, they don't assume responsibility even for things that are their own fault. This century is just crazy. These are crazy times.
So we are living in a very fake, you hear fake news, but I think, anyway, this is my opinion, we are tending to a fake society that is not real. We know what is real, we know what can help us improve, but we are ignoring that, and it's becoming laws that, so people, unfortunately, most of these laws are actually good, but it's easy to take advantage of them. And when you take advantage of it, how do you know who is taking advantage and who is not? So this is the big challenge we are having. And unfortunately, most people are a lot of people seem to be taking advantage of them. That's why you're having a very laissez-faire workforce. But society is cruel. You know, the business world is cruel. You know what I mean? It's about competition. It's about survival of the fittest. That's what the market is doing. It's market forces. So the reality is market forces. The reality is competition. The reality is that if you don't sell, you are out of business. You are going to make a loss. You are going to go bankrupt. That is the reality. Wow. But are we telling the people in the workforce that is the reality? If you don't produce, you are going out? The society, when you're in business, the product or service is not going to think of depression, mental health. It's not going to, the product is not going to say, oh, this service is short because of depression, it's short of mental health, it's short of because, I work in a toxic environment. It's not going to be... the product is not going to be labeled that, and because of that, people buy it. The product has to meet quality, and whatever it is, if it doesn't meet the standard of what the consumers want or the client wants, you can be out of business before you know it. Wow! And who is going to save you? Who is going to help you? Nobody's going to come, oh, yes, you had a lot of people, you had this situation, you had a lot of people with these issues, you had a lot of people who were working from home and doing their nails at home. So, and you gave them a very
fluffy,
so it's good, you are nice. Nobody's going to pay you for that.
Wow. We had Mega Dance 2 weeks ago you know, and there was this team that I believe they got a bit further up in the rankings because they had a story that we only met twice, and you know, and then we came together, and you know, and even though they got higher in the rankings, like the rest of us saw it and we were like, you know what, I think the judges were a bit too soft, you know, because of the story, and because I've always had a belief in the VYG that, you know, the mission doesn't care about your feelings, doesn't care about your hardship. The mission just cares if you deliver on the day, you know. And so I was just thinking about that mega dance situation with that particular team who should have been, I think, probably third or fourth. You know, they got that cushy vibe from the judges, I think. You know what I mean, Alex, right?
What team was it?
Okay, no, you didn't see it. Let's have good eyes. Let's keep this have good eyes. Yeah, have good. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, they got second place, but because of the fluffy story. So we're living in a world where this is everywhere because someone gives a heartfelt story instead of delivering what needs to be done. I know there's reasons, but you need to deliver. The market doesn't care about your story.
Problem. Yes, there are good reasons many times, but unfortunately, you don't go to the supermarket shelf and say you have bad quality product because of a good reason. Nobody sees that. It's not there. You know what I mean? So what we need to see is that market forces, except we just change our economic system, maybe to a socialist or communist.
Oh no, be it far. No way, be it far.
But we are in a capitalist society where it's we are in a battle every day. Every day it's a battle. Every day is a jungle. Every day we have to put bread on the table.
Yeah.
And that is the reality. So we need to have the strong mindset.
So it doesn't matter where we are in life, or we're youth in VYG, where we're growing up, we have to be strong.
Exactly.
We have to be sober.
Exactly, yes.
Beautiful.
So the funding so we need to know a funding option, communicate that, and be disciplined about that so that we can have integrity, even if things don't go the way we want. Transparent, let people know that, look, there are risk, so know what you're looking at.
So the person has to be very thorough, because we're talking about if you have a business idea, right? We're talking about you developing something right now. Spoke about being responsible with money, but now we're talking about, okay, I have an idea, I want to develop it, I want to get funding. So be thorough to find out where these funds are going to be allocated to.
Understand the needs of you have to have an understanding of the needs.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, guys. So that was number 2. All right, we're gonna come with the final. We've got more. We have more, but we won't be able to cover everything today. So we can break it up. Which is great because we're gonna be going for a very short time out right now. But how you find the conversation so far? Please let us know in the live chat. Those of you who are still with us, some of you are actually happy to see the VYG soldiers here. Alex and Javina here today. Just give a wave to the camera. There's that one over there. That one, and that one over there. Let's give a wave, Alex. That's Alex, like, I'm the dude, man. All right, so I got facial hair now. Mum, you know me. All right, so it's been great. So let us know in the live chat how you find the conversation. If you got any other questions, please feel free, because when we do come back in just a moment, we're going to come with the final step. There's actually 7. This is the third one. It's been a very robust conversation this morning. The third one is about Mr. Effy will talk about research funding options, right? Research funding options. So if you have an idea, you want to develop something, you need funding for it, Mr. Effy is taking us through the steps. All right, we've focused on the individual ones, and we've taken a lot, we've gleaned a lot from each one, but it's a whole big process to get funding for our idea.
And that's very, as we've expanded on earlier, it's very important, because where do you get funding? So funding is key.
All right, guys, so look, your dreams can materialize. Just gotta get some good advice. And we're about to go into research funding options, all right? But before we do, I want to show you this quick clip here of some children. Because why is this conversation so important? I think, the education system doesn't teach us the things that we need to function in the world that we have today. And there's this old video from back in the day. I don't know if it's like a special private school where these children have definitely some very interesting ideas. Oh gosh, we've got quite a lot here in live chat, innit? All right, we're going to come back to it in a second. All right, so have a look at this clip, guys, and I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts here on the Table of Justice and you who are listening right now. Take it away.
You spend your pocket money on?
Hamster food and premium bonds. You used to be able to get a decent ice lolly for 3p. Now you can only just get a decent one for 6p, and that's doubled. My friend Billy, he told me he usually gets £1 a week from pocket money. I said, what on earth do you do with all this? And he says he usually spends 10 shillings and will put the other 10 shillings in the bank. And I think it's rather an awful lot. It's quite a lot. Some poor people only own £2 a week for the whole family. Like 6 children, they all live in one room. So I don't think that's right. But some footballs cost 10 shillings. All it is a bit of plastic pumped up into a round ball. And there's your pocket money gone for 10 shillings. If you want to buy a football. There are more important things than pocket money.
Are they? What are they?
Food. You've got to have food to live.
Wow.
I think that you ought to have pocket money. Not about 8 shillings or something. I know a girl who gets that much. And she spends it all on sweets. She never saves anything.
Wow. Look, they didn't set this up. All right, this is from back in the day. We're talking about how nowadays the society's become more lightweight in our feelings, you know? And it was interesting to hear them talk. And come to you, Mr. Effy. What did you observe there, Jovina?
I think it was just funny, their mindset. Just because if you ask a kid in CBC, what are you doing with £2? I'm going to the chicken shop. Like, of course, the currency now is like more powerful. Like back then, people didn't get as much.
Yeah.
But even still, I don't think I would see maybe a 7-year-old talking about saving money in a bank.
I wasn't talking about that.
No, I wasn't talking about it either. No.
What? Alex, your thoughts on that?
Of course, like back then, it was very different. How, like, I think, how do I put it? Like back then, I think those children, like their mindsets were switched on, like how they would think.
Yeah, there was no iPhone or iPad.
Yeah, like I think that kid there, like that football, like he could thought like how he would like use it, how like long it would last. So it's just kind of thinking about the future. But now it's kind of, oh, I see this, I want it. Yeah. And like a week later, they won't use it. So they're not really thinking about the future. But here in that video, they were thinking about the future and how it would benefit them.
Yeah, and I think like probably the environment they were in had a big impact, right, Mr. Effy?
Yes, definitely. You can tell that the environment, for them to have that understanding of what is what, you know, it shows that they were more from probably their parents were investors, you know. So you have, it depends on your environment. You have those that are consumers. They just live to consume. Yeah. You know, they live to show off. Yeah. You know, they live to the bling lifestyle. So they get it, they spend it, you know what I mean?
You see?
Yes. Whereas you have the spenders and the investors. So I think that they were more of the investors.
Yeah. See, and this is why these kind of conversations are important.
Yes.
Right, these conversations are, even if you've got a young child, I know the Malias in Bullring and Croydon listen, they're like 5-6 years old, but just being exposed to these types of conversation, adults being exposed to conversations that we didn't have before, like we're having today, is invaluable. You know, we can't downplay it. You know, I really like that boy who said, you could spend 10 shillings on a ball and the ball gets popped and that's your 10 shillings gone. I love that. That's what I'm trying to make Ezekiel understand, and he's getting it. Like, you know, you buy a lollipop, save the lollipop, make it £2. You know, I always love that conversation. But these conversations are so important, right? So we're about to go to the third one. Just very quickly, just to check in the live chat. We've got anything happening in the live chat, Jovina?
Tommy, or Tommy, whatever his name, says, is it possible to have all the 7 steps even though we don't go through all of them?
Yeah, I guess we can summarize what's coming up, but Miss Effy will return, don't worry.
No worries. And Maria Lopez says, nowadays kids are spoiled.
Indeed, they just know how to flick. Just flick.
Coco Melon.
So
do you know Coco Melon?
Kids are getting spoiled nowadays, but society is getting more competitive.
Yeah.
So what is happening? So there is a discrepancy. So let us... If society is getting more competitive as kids are spoiled, it means that we are creating. There's going to be problems in the future.
Yeah.
Coco Melon. Why is everyone seems to know about Coco Melon except for me? Because I get what Mr. Effy just said,
Yeah.
but it seems like everybody knows this thing about Coco Melon that you said before.
Maybe because Zeke, he was born before that little era. But basically, Coco Melon is like a cartoon for kids.
Okay.
But the problem with it is like kids nowadays, why it's so popular is because like little babies kind of get addicted to it.
Okay.
Like whenever they're like whining or something, they're like, I need Coco Melon. It's like, do you need Coco Melon? Or do you need to eat real melons? Like,
oh wow! So like Mr. Effy said, so the society we're creating the tough situation. All right, so let's be the change we want to see. So I think so we got the third one, Mr. Effy, and what's the third point?
So research funding options. So try and before you rush into accepting any funding, try and do a thorough, detailed research of
put on the screen cap
funding options. There are many funding options, depending as well on the type of business and your background as well. So, for example, if you are a deprived youth, there could be grants, which you don't need to get into debt. You know, depending on your family background, there could be family and friends. You know what I mean, to support you, and that's where it's important integrity, because integrity first starts from those around you. If they trust you, they will invest in you. People may love you, but they will never invest in you because they know you are not ready or you are not responsible. So it's important to win. If you want to be in business, it's important to win those around you first. For them to really believe in you, not by you telling them, but through your character,
how you live,
through your responsibility, how responsible you are, how accountable. Those traits already starts building your brand. You know, so there could be grants, there could be loans, friends and family, crowdfunding. There could be a sponsorship. Maybe you have an idea. There could be government assistance for depending. Maybe if it's a tech invention you have. So it's important to research before. I think for me, in order of priority, you also have venture capitalists. For example, venture capitalists, they fund normally huge risky projects. You know, obviously, to go for those sort of funding, you have to be careful because sometimes they are quite aggressive as well, where they can take over your
project, your
business. You can be the founder and be sacked.
Wow.
Eventually, yeah. So research of funding options. Make sure you know what you're doing and go in with your eyes open. Don't rush to get investment. Because depending on your investment, you could have an idea that you've sold out already from before it even starts, out of desperation.
So when you say sold out, you mean like someone can steal it, or? No,
when I say sold out, let's say you are desperate and you give over 50% of the company to somebody else. Anyone who owns over 50% makes the decision.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So like in Dragon's Den, when they say, you know what, I'll give you 25% of my company, because they want to make the decision.
Exactly.
Yeah. And funnily enough, in VYG, this Sunday, we're having Dragon's Den. So if anyone's listening out there, take notes.
That's good. That's very good. So, so it's very, very important to be careful. Out of desperation, you don't rush to... You have to know what you're doing and don't say, I didn't know that, because it can be cruel, the corporate world, you know. So, and it depends from business to business. Some funding are not suitable for some kind of it. Like, for example, venture capitalists are a lot of tech business because they are high risk, high investment. And what happens is that with venture capitalists, they invest in so many ideas, but they just expect one to break through. Like like Facebook, for example, I think someone invested 500,000. Today it made billions from Facebook. But if you find out he didn't only invest in Facebook, there were many others he invested in that he lost money, but you just need one
to break
through.
The
venture capital is there, but it's really very aggressive sort of investment. So what am I saying? Research your funding option. There's crowdfunding, as you may know. Then you put them in order of priority. For me, I think it's always good to go from friends and family first. You know, then anything to do with grants, maybe even grant if you are eligible for that. Friends and family, then look at government kind of funding, soft loans. Sometimes the government, they have different opportunities for different industries because they want to encourage that that industry. So look at that first before you go to the banks, because these are more friendly. Look at your local council, what they have. Look at sometimes some business people, they have initiatives that some companies, maybe like Barclays, sometimes they have some initiatives to help young people, to help even. So the research is very important before you rush into. So basically, look at what it is that maybe you get zero interest or grants. Then you scale it up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you put it in order of priority. Don't just rush, because honestly, if you have a good idea, a good business idea, you are a person of interest, people will trust you. For example, equity, people who run equity fund, private equity. People who run private equity, they are like you and I. But people just trust them. Many of them had a banking background. Maybe they had a history of doing well in turning over assets, asset managers, banking background. They had a good name. Then they set up a private equity firm. Now, the people are investing in that firm that will buy businesses because of their pedigree.
Wow, there's a lot of opportunity out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it starts with that responsibility with the small things, like you started off with.
Exactly. That's why we started off with that deliberately, because that is key.
Wow.
When you start looking at that, you will find out that as it goes on, as you grow older, as time passes, you are increasing your ability to get funding, to get business, to excel.
Wow. All right, Mr. Effy, thank you so much for that. That
Pleasure.
was really, really powerful today.
Pleasure.
And I think, those of you who are tuned in today, this is it. Maybe you had some ideas in your mind, things that you wanted to do. Mr. Effy gave some really cool points in order to get funding. Clearly, it sounds like it starts from us. How we manage the small things will impact how far we can go and how much more we can be trusted with. What's the next step you're going to take after hearing all this, Jovina?
The next step, I'm going to go on ClearScore.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. What about you, Alex?
I think same as Javina, going on ClearScore and just thinking about what I'm going to invest in, seeing if it's really worth it in the long run, or it's going to, I'll just be there for a time that I'm not going to use it. So just kind of...
Well, ClearScore.
ClearScore, and just like thinking what I invest my money in.
Yeah.
So...
Brilliant. Yeah, because trust me, man, if you live in Paris, you're working. It's a good situation. If I knew that, man, I would invest in Google. Just one of my paychecks would have dealt with my situation for life, $19.99. All right, so look, guys, I hope that helps you, and let's go out there. Let's be the change you want to see. All right, but just to kind of recap, Cap, if you just show on the screen very quickly as we're finishing the program, Cap, the 7 points. So today we spoke about maintain a good credit rating. Number 2, understand your funding needs. So don't just get money and not know where it's going. Number 3, research funding options. Could be before you go to a loan, it's good to see those who are around you, less interest, you know what I mean? Maybe check with your local council. Maybe you're in an underprivileged environment, or there's some things that they do to support young people, Prince's Trust is a huge one for those who are looking to get into business. Prince's Trust, they will help you to develop your ideas. And even for those more mature, let's do your research. Just use our friend called Google. Next time Mr. Effy comes, we're going to be checking number 4, prepare a solid business plan. This is going to be very, very useful. Huge. Number 5, gather necessary documentation. 6, network and build relationships. And 7, applying for funding. All right, guys, so prepare your spirit for these things. I think that's why Julie wants to get it out of the hat right away, because she's already got a business, but she wants to most probably scale or something like that. So we're going to go into it. So thank you, Mr. Effy, for joining us today. You've been absolutely phenomenal.
We enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having us.
All right. And also thank you, Jovina. You've been great.
Thank you.
Yes, great. I'm glad you're not going to, you finished up uni now, so you can be with us here in Liberty Radio. Also, thank you, Alex. You're awesome young man of faith.
Thank you.
All right, it's great having you with us. And Kathleen, how are you, Kathleen? Oh, there you are.
Hello.
How are you doing? You've enjoyed the show today?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
You're a good one.
Thank you.
You're a good one, Kathleen.
Thank you.
You're a good one. For now. See ya. Bye. Okay, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that show and you actually captured that breakfast show vim. We laugh, we joke, we learn, and we equip ourselves for day-to-day life. If you want to see more, guess what? We're actually live with a live chat and a live video feed Monday to Fridays on libertyradio.co.uk from 8 a.m. in the morning. So don't miss a breakfast show beat. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and definitely connect online. And I'd like to see you there on the show. Type your name in, communicate on the morning. If you didn't already, we're also on Instagram. Check us out on Official Liberty Radio on Instagram. There's so much happening on that platform. Definitely go check it out. And I'd love to see you there. All right, have a good one.